it just depends. I think some of us were more, some of us were less. There was the comment about utilizing tools to help improve or increase patience. Also, the comment that personality has a lot to do with whether you're patient or you're not patient. Also, that as we get older, that there's more awareness, and so that awareness may actually result in some extra patience. I really appreciated the comment that Shanna made about her recognition over time that without patience, her quick or rash decisions could have a negative or positive impact on people. And so that increased her patience over time. So that was the first question. The second question, are we the man or woman in the arena? And some of us have one foot in, one foot out. We're kind of in there sometimes and out of there some other times. A lot of times we actually play our own critic. And so sometimes we're both the man in the arena and the critic. So there's some pluses and minuses there. I also found out that many of us in our group were actually very comfortable, that our comfort zone is actually in the arena, getting stuff done. So that was for our second question. Our third question is, does gratitude increase over time? And so this was interesting because there were four of us and our answers were all over the board. So it wavers from time to time. Sometimes in a world with so many downer things going on, it's very difficult to be grateful. But overall, I think the consensus was that it was increasing with perspective, that when we had a chance to look back on our life, we saw that some of those things were happening for us rather than happening to us. And the fact that we got to choose not to be the victim increased our level of gratitude for whatever circumstance we went through. So those are our questions. Excellent. It was a great conversation.
Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. And it's interesting, you said something about the people in the breakout room. I told someone, I sent out a promo and I said, you can meet some very cool people after having a gratitude infusion mastermind in the breakout rooms. And somebody wrote me back and I go, I'll be the judge of whether they're cool or not. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine. Maybe you shouldn't be invited then.
You may want to resend that invitation.
Yeah, I may send that one to spam. Andy Vargo.
All right, we had a great conversation. I met some cool people in my breakout session, so that wasn't me. Not that I'm being the judge of it, but there was a consensus that our appreciation and gratitude has grown because of knowing you, David, and the work that you're doing, and
thank you.
Awareness of it. So that was a key thing. One of the things we've all seen growth in patience and awareness and a shift in where we apply that. And I love the comment that Mark made about, urgency, and how he brought up in our group how it was myself, Mark, and Jason. And Mark brought up how, well, he had lived in a life of being very urgent, which he mentioned in our first session. But when it comes to now, he doesn't have to live that life, but that's given him the ability to be patient and turn the urgency on when it's needed, and be able to say, man, the pipe burst in our home, we can fix this right away. And we're not impatient about it, but we can apply the urgency in a good way. And then also, as far as the gratitude goes, definitely growth and appreciation for gratitude. I had shared that for me, it's shifted from looking for giant, big things to be grateful for to just really appreciating the very smallest thing that you can in your day from the very beginning, and finding so much from there. So,
well said. Very well said. Thank you, Andy. Jim Schulman.
Thank you. Yes, we had a terrific group with Debbie, Nathan, and Derek. And to summarize in general, when there were questions of, is it like this or is it like this? Our answer has been yes. Meaning that there are different situations and shades of gray in meaning. But overall, one theme that kept coming up within the group is that it requires everyone to live deliberately for things to happen.
Yeah.
And if anything, the idea of happenstance is frankly something that is not going to be very productive. It's almost a myth in many cases, as opposed to what you will be able to accomplish by being very forceful and directed in your actions.
Well said. Thank you, Jim. Margaret.
Hello.
Hello.
We had Stefan and Kristen, and Bob disappeared, so we didn't hear from Bob. A lot of similar sharings. Most of us agreed we are more patient over time. I think learning to live and give and take and overcome obstacles. Kristen talked about being grateful for how far we've come, not always concentrate on where we haven't gotten to yet. And I found that a helpful comment. Stefan talked about a morning ritual from Tony Robbins, and he can say it better than I can. 10 minutes of essentially being grateful and happy, and he comes back to his home with a smile. And he finds that very rewarding personally. On the arena, a couple of us talked about failures and learning from our failures. And we progress as people better when we try something. And if we fail, what happened? What can we do better next time? So I come from a place of quality, and that's constantly trying to get better, consciously trying to improve.
Excellent.
So that was another thing that we talked about.
Thank you. So we have 4 left. I want to get to all 4 of you, Kevin, Susie, Michael, and Jeff. But keep it to about 30 seconds to 45 seconds because I want to do one last exercise and I want to be responsible for time. So, and if you can stay longer, that's fine. But I want to make sure though that we wrap up at 1 for those that can stay. And if not, that's okay. Kevin, go ahead.
Be real quick there. I definitely met some cool people. I won't want to brag, but I will. Their names rhyme with Judy Kane and Sajjad Hussein, and we came across with the idea that they were gratitude along. Judy shared some great thoughts about the contrast and perspective, and Sajjad believed through in the capacity. Are we there able to become more grateful for what we're doing? So I'll let everybody else speak.
Very nice. Thank you, Kevin. Susie Webb.
Sorry. Yeah, so I met with Ted and Tom. We had a great conversation. Some of the takeaways, patience is actually an emotion and it's created by the thoughts that we think. So if we're impatient, it's really good to take a look at what am I thinking about something that's creating that emotion. And then trying to get to a better thought is how we change to be more patient. We never get to a level, I think, of patience is 100% we're patient all the time. I think life always throws us opportunities and it's a roller coaster ride. Then Ted had mentioned, I really like this, he said that patience is finding wisdom to meet our needs. And I really like that. And then we talked a little bit about the arena. Ted runs 5 homeless shelters. Tom had a near-death experience, and I lost a grandson. And so, yes, we're in the arena. We're right in the middle of things, as we all are in life. Life presents some challenges for us, but we can learn to have gratitude. And gratitude is actually what has helped each of us get through those really difficult times.
Nice, nice.
And then Ted shared, seeing the good in the situation provides more gratitude. Gratitude equals great things that are all around us. And I really like that too. So that's
excellent, excellent, excellent points. Thank you, Susie. Michael James.
Yeah, thank you. So I was with Mark and Julie, and we had a great conversation about patience as you get older. And we're all at, obviously different stages of our lives. We've all done various entrepreneurial activities in the past. And so it was interesting to hear their levels of patience and how that's kind of shifted and changed, adapting to their circumstances. So it was very interesting. I would say all of us were the man and woman in the arena, respectively. And we all had a very interesting experience from pretty young. Mark was very, very busy, and now he's gotten to slow down a little bit and sounds like maybe enjoy more life. And Julie and myself have, fought many battles and gotten through the arenas, and it's been interesting to hear kind of those journeys and cycles we've all been on. And then has our gratitude increased over time? Absolutely. I would say all of us are very aware and conscious of that. And it seems like, we're able to kind of plug in that gratitude to more situations and share that with the people around us. And I think that's been, very clear. So thank you so much for your work, David.
You're welcome. Thank you, Michael. Well said. Jeff.
Real quick, if I can grab a screenshot of everybody that's left. I'll count us down. 3, 2, 1. Got it. And then if you want to add me on LinkedIn, I will tag you. If you are not a first degree connection, I won't, because it does weird things for my posts. Cool. Thanks, David.
Thank you. All right, we're at the top of the hour, but we're going to end every Gratitude Infusion Mastermind with the same technique, the same exercise they do every single time. Grab your smartphones. Hopefully you have them handy. This will just take 1 minute. And this is called the 4 T's: telephone, text, tweet, or tell. Most everybody texts. I'm going to give you 60 seconds, and we'll wrap up pretty close to on time, to text somebody in your life to tell them how grateful you are for them. And please use the word grateful, whoever you want. If you can do more than one, that's fine. But get one done and text as many as you can in 60 seconds. Go. And make sure you use the word grateful in the text. Okay, there's 60 seconds. Hopefully you got enough of them out. I always tell people that for you those of you who haven't heard me say this before, when I'm on live and I go to my book table afterwards, after I've done this exercise, and people bring up their phones and they show me the text that they sent to somebody to tell them how grateful they are for that person. And they show me ones and the phone says stuff like, "I'm grateful for you too. What do you want?" And then there's another one that somebody shows it and it says, "Are you sure you sent this to the right person?" It's like, man, we're just trying to express some gratitude here. And then how sad I was in Las Vegas a few months ago, and she shows me the phone and hers, and it says, "Is everything okay? Is there an active shooter in the hotel?" That's the world that we've come to. But still, it is telephone, text, tweet, or tell. And once I was at a performing arts center, and the gal over to the side, she's using the telephone, and she says, "Hi, honey, I want to tell you how grateful I am for you." I'm assuming her husband. "I'm so grateful for you, and I just really appreciate and you're so." I don't know. Some speaker just told me to call you and tell you. Man, what is wrong with you? You're supposed to be expressing gratitude. Okay, 60 more seconds and I'm gonna let you go. In July, I'm starting a Gratitude Infusion Roundtable. It's a higher level group of people, and let me just read about it. Please join me for a high level group of like-minded individuals that want to take their appreciation and thankfulness to an elevated level in the Gratitude Infusion Roundtable. This monthly meeting will give you consistent tools to navigate the sometimes challenging obstacles that we all face in life. The power of the mastermind will assist in helping you build stronger coping mechanisms and coping skills. The agenda will include a featured member focus, like hot seat type focus, a guest speaker, a content pillar, a breakout room, a recommended book, and numerous exercises and activities. The roundtable will be limited to no more than 20 individuals. So I will be telling you about that next month and talking about it more. I'm looking to get 20 people that want to take their gratitude to an even higher level. So I'll let you know about that. Thank you all very much. It's 1:03. Thank you for staying. I'll stick around, but those of you that have to go, I always want to respect the hour starting right at 12 Pacific Daylight Time and ending at 1. So for those of you that have to leave, anybody has any questions, I'll be around for a minute, but I want to respect that time. Right, Mr. Sajad?
Tomorrow at 9:50 a.m. Central, polarizing networking. The most polarizing networking on earth. My partner, Jen Carpenter, believes in no like, trust, go giver, and it's all about relationships.
Sam. Hi, Sam. I see you in Great Britain.
Hello there. Fabulous. Thank you, David.
You bet. Nice to see you. It's always the power of Zoom from all about parts of the country, you know, and then
Dave, how do we invite other people into this?
there was a link. There was
wonderful.
a link. Thank you, Jason.
It's on the email.
In the chat, but the same email that I sent you that says click here, just forward that link to them and they can.
Oh, wonderful.
And thanks for reminding me, Jason, because I wanted.
I'm putting it in the chat again for you, Jason.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mr.
Thank you very
D,
much.
thank you for, with all due respect, Mr. D, I appreciate that comment. That's very helpful. So, all right.
And we'll be in touch, Mark.
Likewise. Thank you, Jason.
And Mark, you
Great
got to
see you.
connect with
Glad-
Michael James, for gosh sakes.
Glad you're doing well, Michael. Great to see you.
And how about that guy that's going to be in Italy soon, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Davis?
Oh my goodness, he looks about 28.
He looks tremendous. It makes me sick. He looks so good.
He almost has as much. He almost has as much hair as us.
I know. Yeah.
Us? What are you talking about?
That's what my wife says. She said, let your hair go long, and said, really piss off those bald guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And bald women. Yeah, there's a few of those out there.
And Mark,
Yeah.
I might add, I saw a DB a couple years ago, and he looks as good in person as he does on Zoom. Nothing has changed from the early 70s at Butch Blum, I'll tell you. I'm very jealous.
It's hard work, though. You know.
Derek
Yeah.
Lord, how's everything? I didn't get a chance to hear from you. Everything good with you?
Oh, it's going fine. What a wonderful job you're doing. What a great group of people.
Thank you,
And
Derek.
focusing on gratitude, you gotta love it. And more people have to know you exist, as we've talked about many times. And we'll continue.
Thank you. You're very kind. And this group I talked to today, there was a woman in the group named Patricia Fripp, who is a very well-known speaker. And I don't normally get too intimidated, but it was interesting seeing her face up there, and she was laughing and clapping her hands and everything. So I thought it was good. But to me, she's kind of like a Tony Robbins. So there's always people we want to aspire to. But thank you for that. It's somebody said to me one day about how did you pick gratitude, and it's just interesting because for me, gratitude applies to everybody, young, old, male, female, black, white, male. It doesn't matter because it's how you, it's a mindset of how you run your life. And that's why some of the questions and comments were really good that people made today about how we look at people and how we look at situations. And I've had I've had more than a couple of times that people have gotten a hold of me and said, somebody just died. What do I have to be grateful for? And, and I step back and just say, it's like anything else. You've got, I think I've mentioned to a few people that had a flood in the condo here, and I'm living in like 2 or 3 rooms, but it could have been so much worse. It could have been my office. This would have been horrendous. I couldn't have run this business from a hotel room or a motel room or something. So it just depends on how you look at something.
David, if I can comment, when I share your story, I say of all the people that I've known that have every reason not to have gratitude, it's David Brooke. I mean, I share, obviously, I hope it's okay, but, some of the challenges you've had in your past with, your father and your mom and your wife and those. I said, here's the one guy who should be able to say, screw you, I've gotten a short end of the stick and blah, blah, blah. And yet he comes out as that gratitude guy. So that's particularly poignant to me.
Thank you, DB. And on a completely different note, my son Connor was extremely impressed with you. Just so you know, as we drive away in our RV, he says, well, how did you meet that guy? When did you know him? I said, Connor, I met Doug way before you ever came around. We go back to the 70s, but no, but thank you. And it's just, to me, we all have our battles and our journeys and all that kind of thing. And you just try so hard to, I try not to get too religious. I've had a lot of companies say to me, now, you're not going to bring up God, are you, when you're talking? And the thing that I always tell them, I says, well, if you don't want me to, that's fine. But I believe that you're given what you can handle. And I think that for me and for others in this very room, we're given what we can handle. And, there's other people that get a hangnail and have to go to a psychiatrist, so it's just, you're kind of given what you can handle. So
I have a comment and a question, David.
Yes, sir.
So for people that say somebody died, you can say, well, did you owe them any money?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Then it's a good thing that they're dead. And then my question is, the reason I came is because I'm afraid to be myself because people might not like me. Any advice on that?
Sajad, you are such a classic example of they broke the mold. Get that mold over here for this Sajad guy. Where's the hammer? Just break it up. We're never making another one of these guys. No, see, what I like about you is that you have a very distinctive personality, very, very edgy, whatever you want to call it. But the most important thing is you're who you are. And I'm not going to say I'm relating this to, but I have an older brother. I don't want to say I shouldn't say who it is, but it's my older brother who agrees with everybody in the room. It doesn't matter. I love Sajad. I can't stand Sajad. I can't stand him either. And I go, take a freaking stand. Says, don't just, can you be somebody? So be yourself. Everybody else is taken, they always say, and just be proud of who you are, and it's just, you're very memorable. And I think it's cool to be memorable. I think there's nothing sadder than people. Do you remember meeting my friend so-and-so? No. Didn't leave an impression.
Well, to be fair, only 96% of people hate me, but they're poor and stupid. So the rich, smart people like me. The pretty girls like me.
I always love where you get the stats. Do you have the data for that?
No, I just made it up right now. How would I have done?
Of course you just made it up just now.
Can you call Bruce Kaufman and get that on a spreadsheet? I want to see it.
I can do that. He's one of my clients. I can
Yeah.
$100.
75% of facts are made up. Yes.
Bill Burr has a joke about that. I went to 1-800-supportmyclaim.com and found the data to support what I want to say.
That's funny. Mr. D, anything interesting? Everything still good in Portland?
Yeah, everything's great. I'm glad I got to see Mark again, and what a great group of people you have. Very impressed.
Thank you.
Very glad I came. I mean, for me, it's gratitude is in my DNA.
Yeah.
And as you know me, I also play the long game. So patience is also a virtue.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Nathan, any comments from you?
Helps if I unmute myself. No, just happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here.
Yeah. I mean, you invited me and I thought, ooh, this sounds really interesting. I want to check it out. But I mean, I know a lot of the people here, so that's very helpful. In the breakout room I was in with Jim and Derek, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the other woman, but it was very helpful. And your questions were good.
Oh,
they were a good reminder to me because I haven't been as grateful as I could be about certain things because of a lot of hardships as of late. And I need to remind myself of that. One thing I did was right after you started talking about it, I made a little note to myself on my phone, which was cultivate patience. That's one of my worst flaws. I'm not a patient person. And it was another reminder of that.
So what do you do,
thank you.
Nathan, that helps with that?
Remind myself about it more than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in art school, it was the same problem. My biggest problem was being impatient, which would cause me to screw up. But if I forced myself to slow down, then everything worked.
Well, and it's so important too. I push the gratitude journal. And one of the things on the gratitude journal at the bottom of the left page, it says the highlight of your day. So one of the highlights of my day yesterday was talking to my good friend, Sam Rehan in Great Britain. I had a chance to, I haven't talked to her in a while. And we had a Zoom call for, I think it was a pretty brief half hour or so. And so but it just reminds you when you think, what was the highlight of your day? And you think about that. And then I talked to my younger son, and that's always a highlight. And just anything else that comes up there, it can really blunt the effects of the impatience and different things that can come up too, and the negativity by overwhelming it with positives. And in fact, actually, when I think about the highlight of the day, sometimes I have to stop and think about it. And, oh, that's right, I did this, or I had this talk this morning. And like today, the highlight of my day for tomorrow, for today will be the Golden Gate Breakfast Club talk, and then the Gratitude Infusion Mastermind. And then I have another talk here in 15 minutes, which is just insane. I was telling STK, I have no idea what I planned today, which is ridiculous because it's just like, being on stage and you're kind of drained afterwards, but it's all good. But I just think, and this was a theme that came up a little bit about having the good overwhelm the negative, and just there's so much you can't really think about that. So hopefully something like that will help, Nathan, because you're constantly focusing on the blessings and abundance, and that can make a difference.
David, may I say something positive
just wrote
to
that
Nathan to help
down.
him out?
Sure.
Nathan, if you ever feel sad, just think you're almost as smart and good looking as me. And then you feel better about yourself.
Sajad, just so you know,
Sajad, your humor is only surpassed by your good looks and extreme
You
intelligence.
should see the women I date.
John, this will make you feel better. Not that you need to feel better, but as this group has grown from 10 or 15 people to 20, 25, 30, whatever it might be, I can always tell, hey, I love to talk the other day. So how you been? Good. Say, what's the story with the what's this? And I always know what's coming. What's the story with that one guy? He says is Black Jesus Christ or something. And it's all I also go, oh yeah, that's Sajad. Yeah, well, he was in my group and he was a trip, and it's always the same person. So you've made a name for yourself, as you know.
Yeah. Well, I heard I used to go by Jesus Was Black as my screen name, but I found out that offended stupid white people. So I changed my name to Your Mom's Side Piece so that I don't upset
That was
you.
an improvement.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope white people like me better now. Have a good day, guys.
Hey, David, can I share one thing? And I know you got to go, but
yes,
on this patience thing, I'm working with a coach, and what she's having me do is the patience thing is mostly in your head, right? It's the mind is to take the physical and like a somatic response. So like feel your feet on the ground, feel your butt in the seat, and it just causes you to slow down for a second. And obviously that's a short-term reaction to patience versus, long-term goals. But this idea of just sort of physically tying the physical and, kind of feeling, where is that impatience? Where are you feeling that in your body? So that's been helpful to me.
That's neat. I've got to get going, but I got to get ready for this talk in 12 minutes. But Rob, I wanted to mention to you, I'd love to meet offline to help you fill your group, because you were mentioning, and I don't know what happened to your speaker or whatever, but that's something that STK and I have talked about a lot. And it's amazing the efforts that you have to make to get people. And then especially when I'm proud of what we've developed here, but think, oh, I didn't know it was going to be this good. Well, I tried to tell you this is what and so whatever. And so let me know and let's do a Zoom call or something. I'll do what I can to help you.
Sure. All right, perfect. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next month.
See ya.
Take care.
Take care. Lovely to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.